Here we go. Hello, hello, beautiful, colorful people. Welcome to this week's episode of Pop of Color Live, music industry talk show for bright and colorful artists. I'm your host, Clara Charron, and oh boy, I've had a week full of highs and lows. Sorry, I feel kind of out of it tonight, but the show must go on, and that's the beauty of Facebook Live. I'm not doing take after take after take and editing it all together. I'm just going and just, you gotta keep going. Show must go on. So let's start with the news. American burger chain Wendy's released a rap mixtape called We Beefin', where Wendy's takes hits at other burger chains such as McDonald's and Burger King. The article linked in the description of this video is Billboard magazine covering this EP as if it's a real artistic statement as opposed to a corporate meme. And I feel like we've reached some peak trap at this point, and as well as peak music journalism, if we're at the point where even big publications such as Billboard need those clicks so badly that they're going to cover and talk about a burger restaurant creating a rap mixtape that pokes fun and insults other burger chains without swearing. I want to take a moment and show you my lovely tea mug, courtesy of David's Tea. It's like American Idol, you know, where the judges drink Coca-Cola. Well, I'm drinking David's Tea, so thank you, David's Tea. The tea I'm drinking tonight is an herbal called Forever Nuts. Speaking of nuts, the next thing we're talking about in the news is the song Blurred Lines by Marvin. The song Blurred Lines, originally written by Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams, lost its appeal in court over the copyright suit infringing on Marvin Gaye's Gotta Give It Up. The Gaye estate will be awarded $5 million, which I am very, very upset about this case. I mean, I can't believe I'm siding with Robin Thicke on anything, but irrelevant. What they sued over, I mean, basics of music copyright lawsuits is you sue over the song sounding the same, you know, or illegal sampling. They didn't sample it, and the notes clearly go in different melodies. But what the Gaye estate, because Marvin Gaye passed away, this is his less talented family suing to get extra money and royalties, is that it feels like a Marvin Gaye song. It has the atmosphere, the vibe of a Marvin Gaye song. So you're suing over a vibe. It was really controversial. I think the judges, it was like, out of the panel of judges, it was like split down the middle, and the last one ruled that it was an infringement on copyright. I think this is a huge blow and a huge disappointment to songwriters, no matter what your genre is. If you can't call back to the past and get inspired by classic acts and classic songs and classic styles without being sued for copying the feel of something, then how are we supposed to go forward? Everything is built off something else. In other news, Spotify has shut down Spotlister, a website where artists pay to submit their tracks to Spotify creators in the hopes of landing on Spotify playlists. They call it payola in the streaming age. Spotlister quickly tried to rebrand themselves as Jamlister so that they would not be as directly associated with Spotify, but it looks like it is violating their terms and conditions, so that's not going well. Well, guys, really paying to be on playlists. No, I know, playlists are the new radio, but just as payola was outlawed for obvious reasons, so is paying for Spotify playlists, placements, and listens. Last piece of news I want to talk about here is YouTube is launching its upcoming paid music streaming service, as you might have heard. But at South by Southwest, the head of one of the big departments at YouTube said that what they're going to do to encourage people to move from listening to music on YouTube for free to upgrading to the paid streaming service is users that they judge as heavy music listeners. So we're not talking about just listening to the occasional track or music video. We're talking about people who listen to it all day instead of having an Apple Music or a streaming subscription or buying CDs. They're clearly listening to the full albums, the full audio tracks day in, day out. These people that the algorithms of YouTube will judge as heavy music users will be bombarded with more paid ads. That they'll have more ads is in front of the videos. There'll be ads before the videos, after the videos, in order to convince them to upgrade to the paid service that will not have advertisements and commercials before and after each video. So that's the news of the week. On to the lovely, lovely, lovely presentation I'm doing. Hi, Louise. There's some cats around the room. If you see her in the background right now, she's in her box. I'll flip over and say hi to her later, so you can all say hi. We're going to be talking about music conferences. So the Music Conference Survive and Thrive Guide. I'm super excited about this one. So we're going to start with what to pack. So I'm going to take the main example of Canadian Music Week in Toronto, because that's, from my experience, that was the one where you go across. Hey, Spencer! Thanks for tuning in. So here are things, I'm going to go over things to pack, things to skip, and things to do while you're at the conferences. Concerts are up to you. I'm mainly talking about attending the panels and the interviews and the seminars. So, packing classy and comfortable shoes. Seems obvious, but you need to remember to strike the right balance. Classy shoes, yes, but if you're in brand new dress shoes that are going to hurt your feet after standing all day, that's not going to be fun. You're not going to be in your best mood, and you're not going to be in your most friendly and best networking attitude if your feet are hurting the whole time, even if you're talking to your dream networking partner. Or also classy and comfortable, so you need to make sure they're comfortable, but they also should be classy. Muddy runners, no, don't fly. Next, nice clothes. Pack an extra outfit just in case. If you have anything, if it's, say, Canadian Music Week, which the conference itself is three days, and then there's the happy hour or day of everyone arriving and the day of everyone leaving at the end. And so let's say 5 outfits, pack 6, because you never know if you're going to spill wine or tea on anything. It's always good to have a backup, because you don't want to be going around with a stained white dress shirt, for example. Conversation pieces. I talked about this in my networking episode, which you guys can go watch again. But wear things that make people want to approach you. If you're nervous about going to go talk to people, especially I'm talking like big conferences, so most conferences, where there are a lot of very important, very fancy people, and you're a little bit nervous, just wear something that makes people come to you. Tonight I'm wearing my necklace that says Clara on it. This is the one I mentioned as an example pulled during the networking episode about helping people remember your name. But also, if you've got anything that can start a conversation. I went to an art party a few nights ago, and I wore sequin sparkly shoes. If you have something that is more than just music, has another passion or hobby, or something you support that can get people to come up to you and say and recognize where it's from, say a TV show, a book, a movie, or a sport even, that is fantastic, because you'll meet a lot of people, so it's great if you can have more meaningful conversations than just trying to pitch your music. Business cards. Pack lots and lots of business cards. If you aren't sure how many to pack everything you've got. It's better to have too many and carry home some in your suitcase than run out on day 2 out of 3. Pens. Same thing, lots and lots of pens. always have 2 on hand at all times because you never know if you're going to run out of ink. Notebook. So not only are you wanting to write down details of the people you meet on business cards, but you'll also want notebooks. This is the notebook I bring everywhere right now. I go through about 2 a year, but they're the really big solid ones. However, I don't pack light. If you do pack light and you don't want to carry a huge bag with you, I vote for something slim, a slim notebook that's easy to and portable. I sell them on my website, but here's the fun part. Anyone who comments on this video will be entered for a chance to win one. I will send it to you in the mail with confetti and a nice note. So comment away. You guys are great. This is just a gift of my appreciation. And Louise, must you play with tissue paper right while I'm doing a video? Okay, next up, phone plus your phone charger. If you're staying in the hotel, say just upstairs, not a big deal if you forget your charger upstairs, but if you're coming for the full day or if your hotel is further away, bring your charger too. You'll likely be on the internet looking at things, looking at references, sharing social media, looking at exact quotes. You want to make sure your phone stays charged. Speaking of phone, most big conferences also have a specific app to download. So Canadian Music Week has an app, Megaphono has an app, South by Southwest I'm sure has an app that you can download so you can look at the schedule of all the panels that are taking place as well as the concerts and the music events. Do download that because it's way more convenient to just scroll on your phone or enter it by searching than going through the big pamphlet. Those are awesome. So they're lovely collectors. Food from home. So this is something most people don't think of. Even if you're traveling for say the week or the weekend, or even just going downtown for the conference, most of the music conferences, the conference portions take place in very nice hotels, which is lovely for the atmosphere, but it also means that a cup of apple juice is $5, which as hustling, emerging independent artists, we might not want to use $5 on a little cup of apple juice. So if you're able to smuggle in some granola bars, protein bars, anything that can get you through the day without having to buy food from the lobby 5-star hotel, awesome. Also, good plan is if you know the city where you are or have extra time, try to go around on the outside of the perimeter of the hotel to try to look for cheaper food options. So say whether it be the mall food court that's 1 block away, or if there's some fast food joints because you're right downtown. That comes in handy as opposed to paying $20 for a sandwich. Which my first time at Canadian Music Week, I remember I was in Toronto and I just went up outside and I came across a hot dog stand. Those typical downtown Toronto hot dog stands. So I paid about $5 for a hot dog with like a drink, and I just came right back down into the conference and mingling with the people, like in my suit, eating a hot dog with a soft drink. Money for food. So if you're not able to bring an entire week's worth of food to across the country or internationally to a conference, remember to pack money for food. Cash is better, if you're not planning on buying at the very, very fancy lobby hotel 5-star restaurant or cafe. Cash is better if you're dealing with food stands or mall food courts. And one last thing when it comes to clothes is wear in layers. You can never guarantee how warm or cold it will be indoors in the hotel, regardless of what time of year it is or what country you are in. So try to do layers. So have a nice shirt and a nice jacket or sweater on top so that you look nice no matter what stage of overheated or comfortable you are at. Because you don't want to be only stuck with your jacket on even though you're sweltering in the heat because your top underneath isn't very business appropriate, and vice versa. Now we're on to things you want to skip while you're packing. So one, your CDs. I know I've said it before, and some of you may disagree with me on this, but at this point, going around to conferences handing out physical CDs, I'm talking like jewel case square CDs, is not a good use of storage space. So, okay, let me break it down. Okay, so 1, you're packing them in your suitcase, so there's 1 chance for breakage. 2, they're taking up space and they're heavy. Okay, so second point, most people walking around the conference don't have room in their coat jean pockets to carry a CD. And 3, most people don't have ways to play CDs anymore. In this entire house I'm in, there is not a single CD player. My laptop doesn't have one. I don't have one with a radio. I have to go out to a car to play a CD. If you're going to hand people your music, try a free download code. Bandcamp does them, CD Baby does them, or I'm sure you can set something up even better with your website. Download code to join your newsletter in exchange for a free download if you want people to hear your music. But for the most part, going around trying to hand every person in a suit a CD of your music, even worse, a demo, is not a good use of your time, and it's not a good use of your CDs. You could be selling those to fans, not handing them out where they're probably going to be found in the urinals, according to one source who entered the men's bathroom at Canadian Music Week last year. Okay. 2 other things to skip: your laptop and your earphones when it comes to the conference halls. Hi, Chantal! Well, so yes, if you're traveling, of course bring your laptop, of course bring your earphones so you can listen to music on the Greyhound bus or on the airplane or the train. But when it comes to going downstairs to the music conference, your laptop is just gonna weigh everything down, and you don't want to take notes on it in the conference hall anyway, because then instead of your eyes aglow with the wonder of newfound learning, your chin will be aglow with typing away on your laptop, and it's a distraction to everyone else in the hall, as well as earphones. You want to be attentive to talk to everyone. So even if you do want to talk to anyone and you're just mingling in the conference center, having your earphones in suddenly tells everyone else you want to be left alone. Which, if you do want to be left alone, hide in the bathroom. Don't put your earphones in, because then people are going to just walk past you and you might miss out on valuable connections. So, hang on. I'm talking a lot and I'm super excited. Anyway, so now some general tips for the music conference. 1, practice your elevator pitch. If you don't know what that is, just picture yourself staying in the hotel where the conference is taking place. You get on the ground floor of the basement, and oh look, your dream big shot who you've always wanted to work for, be signed by, be managed by, enters at the same time as you, and you guys are both going up in that elevator. You've got until he or she gets off on their floor or to explain who you are and what you do. The best tip I can possibly give with elevator pitches, and lots of people are going to disagree with me on this, but don't make them sound salesy. There's so many business people who tell you to practice like a Shark's Tank, Dragon's Den style elevator pitch. It's good to have one, but those are good when talking to investors who are already ready to present cold hard cash. But conferences you do a lot better at conferences when you're focusing on forming relationships and connections than you focus on forming business deals. So you're able to weave in who you are, what you do, what you stand for, what you've accomplished so far, and where you're going, and what your goals are, into a conversation kind of way, which is much more friendly, much more open, and a lot less pushy, and like telling them exactly what you want from them. You're going to do a lot better. 2, study the delegates. Back to conferences having phone apps on their websites, usually ahead of the conference starting. They will post a list of the prominent delegates coming, whether they be speakers on the panels, presenters, or people from all over the world who are coming to the conference, and they'll have a link to their website, a little bit about them, and their photo. You'll look at what they look like, look at their name, so then you're able to see them in the crowd, figure out who, at the risk of sounding cold and calculating, make a hit list. Figure out who are the people who are relevant to you and who you really want to talk to. Memorize what they look like, so it's easier to spot them when you're in the middle of the crowd talking to everyone. Okay, next tip. Make a loose game plan. I'm not saying you have to schedule everything to the minute. But if you're able to look at the conference schedule ahead of time to know which panels are going on you'll be a lot better organized, and you'll be able to breathe a lot better and be able to talk to more people more confidently, because you'll be spending less time with your nose buried in the delegate pamphlet booklet trying to figure out what you should attend and where the rooms are. Side note to that one, scope out the rooms, know which room is ballroom A, ballroom B, ballroom C, D. You figure out where the rooms are so that you can spend more time talking to the person in the seat next to you and less time rushing to come in late, be on time. Another thing there. For introverts, so if you're someone who, hey Doug, gets overwhelmed easily by big crowds at music conferences, okay, my tip is to hide in a bathroom stall for a little while, but also, if you're staying in the hotel, there's nothing wrong with going upstairs to your floor and spending a little bit of time there, or finding a quiet hallway or corner where you can just breathe and relax and unwind. Because I know lots of people are going to tell you that you only get 3 days at this conference, you only get a weekend, you only get a week. You need to push yourself and go hardcore and do everything you can. But if you're an introvert who will get overwhelmed and exhausted and irritable by so much time being on 110% with the socialness, you're going to burn yourself out, and you want the first person in the day that you talk to have the same enthusiasm in your voice and friendliness and your genuine personality as the last. And if you burn out, what happens if the last person you meet of the day is someone who can move your career forward, or someone you can form a genuine collaboration or connection with? That you won't make the best first impression you can if you're exhausted and you're burnt out and you're irritable, because you've been pushing yourself to try to be social and try to be happy and try to be presentable all day. If you're able to take a little bit of time throughout the day to just spend half an hour in a quiet corner breathing in the bathroom stall in your hotel room, that will do wonders for you. If you can pick a time where either there's no panels that interest you, if it's one of those conferences that has a multitude of panels, or if you can find, during the speed meeting hour you didn't manage to book a connection, then just take a little bit of time. Last tip I'm going to leave for the conference Survive and Thrive guide is treat the big shots like your equals. This is my favorite quote I use, but nothing screams little fish in the big pond like, hey, look everybody, it's Rick Barker, former manager of Taylor Swift. Mr. Barker, I'm your biggest fan. Will you please manage me? I've been told I'm the next Taylor. Yeah, no. No matter how big they are, ego doesn't get you very, very far in the music industry in the long term, especially in the new independent digital age. Your best bet is to just be like, hey Rick, how are you? For example, I pulled him out of the hat because I like his stuff. But yeah, that's where I was going with that. Just be nice. He'll know you're an independent artist eventually as you two get talking just hero worshiping and fanboying or fangirling over an industry big shot just makes them uncomfortable, and it makes things awkward, and it puts a lot more emphasis on the favors they can do for you and what they can do for you versus a mutually beneficial relationship and connection that will get you a lot further in the industry. So, yes, this was tonight's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Everyone who left a comment, even if it just said joined, is entered in the draw to win a notebook. That's the perfect slim shape to bring to your next music conference. You guys are all awesome. Oh, wait, I promised I'd show you Louise. We set up a new little bed for her. I'm still in the process of spring cleaning my wardrobe and my room, so I'm so sorry for the mess here, Louise. But yeah, we're doing great. Link to my blog, my socials, my artist services, my newsletter are in the video description. I'm sending a newsletter. Hey, Sophie. I'm sending the newsletter on the 1st of April. It's gonna be a quiz as the special feature article, so I'm super excited about that. So yes, have a wonderful, amazing, colorful week. Bye guys.